For the last 9 years, I've been falling in love with the 25 acres I call home. Though I only recently became familiar with the term, I've been striving to become what Robin Wall Kimmerer might call naturalized to place. As often as I can, I like to hike a little trail around my property, rain or shine. I get to watch the seasons change, and I've become familiar with much of the flora and fauna that God has decided to grow in this soil. A lot of the time, I use the iNaturalist app to identify species I find. It uses AI and a picture to suggest a genus or species from a database, and you can get feedback from others more familiar with that field. It's all very transhumanist, as Norman Wurzba might say. For the most part, I look at these plants in dualisms: edible or poisonous, native or invasive, beneficial or nuisance. One of the plants I've grown to love is this brambly vine with the scientific name Smilax. It has a lot of names: greenbrier, sawbrier, and also catbrier. That last name, catbrier, is because if you walk through it in shorts, you'll be covered in what looks like cat scratches. I learned it's a cornerstone species of the crosstimbers ecosystem where my home is located. Crosstimbers is the climax ecosystem here. This means that in its healthiest condition, when the soil and plants reach equilibrium, they will be this mix of post oak and blackjack oak and greenbrier. Much of this cross timbers ecosystem near my home has been removed to make way for hayfields, but our farm is fortunate to still have a fair amount of thriving cross timbers, particularly near the seasonal creek. But back to the greenbrier. When we first moved here, we spent hours and days trying to remove these vines. No matter how many times you prune back the runners, it grows right back. So eventually I asked, what does it want? What's its purpose? Smilax isn't just growing, it's seeking. It spirals through the air in circumnutation, reaching for something to climb. Now, when I find a vine in my path, I gently guide it back, wrapping it around neighboring plants, its sisters. So I've made peace with this plant and grown to love it. The more I grow to love it, the more it seems to love me back. The shoots in spring are absolutely delicious. They taste like fresh snap peas. And when it crosses the trail, I guide it home and walk on. The strengthened vines form a hedge, a kind of living wall, protecting the woods behind them. By keeping to the trails, I leave the rest of the land to grow wild and whole. These trails aren't mine alone. They're shared by deer and rabbits, raccoons and birds. I see their tracks, and I can tell when a deer have been through. They love the greenbrier shoots just as much as I do. There are so many things greenbrier has taught me. Not to stop growing after being cut back. That boundaries are good and necessary. Connecting with others is the surest way to find the light. Like this vine, hope is hard to kill. Greenbrier is only one thread in this land story, but the abundance of regenerative energy is something I see everywhere in nature, and that is where I find hope.